Okay. Give me a second here. I'm trying something new. All right. So I'm trying to stream from both platforms, from the D Live and the YouTube. Okay. So give me a second, y'all. Let me see if how this is going. Okay. All right. After I touch on this topic, I'm gonna leave it alone. All right. Let me just say honor to you all. Welcome all. Welcome to you all. All right. Peace, love, light to you all. And I say honor to you. Honor to you. All right. To everyone that's watching, to everyone that's joining the chat, honor, honor to you. Star Vision Omnimi, honor to you, sis. Star Strike, honor to you. Feathered Sun, honor to you. Sister Cherokee Tulu, honor to you. Tim Buck, son of Papoose, honor to you. Honor everyone. This is Darkman XTV. I am an Arawak American, in colonial terms, what they called an Arawak American. Okay, and when we say this, certain outlets, they fear that. Okay, when you say your tribal identity, when you say your nationality, there are entities out there that fear that, because now it puts you outside of the construct of the entities that are trying bullying tactics, that are trying all tactics that they can try to tear you down. Okay, so just know this is what's going on. All right. Now I'm gonna play something. I'm gonna play something for you guys. Now, if you all can hear me, just press one in the YouTube chat and the D Live chat if you all can hear me. Okay. Like this. All right, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all. Like I heard two audios today. I heard one from my homeland, uh, and I heard one from the mainland. Okay. I heard the Prime Minister of Jamaica, that's also called Zamaica, or corporate terms, but they call Jamaica. But Jamaica is an entire 28 island archipelago of America. All right, it's not just one landmass; it's all 28 islands. Okay, but with that being said, back to the Cuomo stuff. I heard the sickest stuff coming out of a public official's mouth with this man. And it's not about law or rule of law with this man. It's about intimidation tactics. Okay? It's about bullying you to make you do what he wants you to do. He is a public servant. He doesn't rule over you. Last time I checked, you hired him, you can fire him. And people are falling for the mind tactics of where he has you playing against each other. How much more? Like, let me just start off. This platform does not advocate for any form of terroristic activities or hate speech or anyone. This platform is for educational purposes and for the critique of public information as it is put out there in the public. Now, let those who have ears hear, let those who have eyes see. Let those who have common sense make sense out of what they are hearing from someone. Let those who are not of lazy mind go and research what this man is saying to see if he's telling truth or fallacies. Okay? That's it. Truth or fallacies. Is he telling you the truth? Does he have your best interests at heart? The whole goal for the states is to shut down the economy because the states are trying to renege on the oath that they took to the federal government, because the states are the ones that enforced and enacted slavery in the first place. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Give me a second. I want to pull up one more thing, and then we're going to get into this. All right. We're going to get into it. One second. Because and I implore folks to share this. This affects people internationally. All right. Because the tactics don't change. All right. The tactics don't change. All right. I'm going to show you. These Democrats, man, when you thought you've woken up and you're still learning certain things, like 2 months ago, you would have 2-3 months ago, you would have never heard me talking positive shit about no Republican. And mind you, this has nothing to do with me, because the political construct has nothing to do with me. But it's the fact that I see so many other indigenous people who has had their identity stolen and reclassified as a corporate product and entity unknown to them, and is being brainwashed and entrapped into slavery. Some of whom are my kin. I'm not going to stand here like other associations that's out there and keep my goddamn mouth shut. I'm going to show you guys and point it out to when you're being played, and just show you. I have no political affiliation or alliance to either party or any corporate entity. I am not contracted with these entities. I owe them no loyalty. None. You must put honor and morals before a corrupted individual. You must put honor and morals out there ahead of anything else, to stand on good faith, on good grounds, with humanity, with life, with natural life, not artificial life. With your fellow brethren, your fellow man and woman. And ensure that they are not slaughtered or taken advantage of. Give them some form of opportunity. Arm them with knowledge so that they know what's happening to them. Because those are your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your mom, your dad, your grandmother, your friends that you grew up with from elementary school, pre-K, God damn it. Once you give the information, they do with it what they want to do with it. Your conscience is clear. Okay? But on a spiritual level, this affects the plants, the very soil that your feet walks up on, the air, the water you intake, everything that you intake. This is spiritual. So I'm not telling anyone to take up no guns and go out there gun-ho, blah, 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 blah. What I notice with these evil entities, and for folks who don't believe in it, They will sacrifice their own just to push a goddamn agenda. So when you're hearing police officers being now killed in Jamaica, right, and killed on the mainland and killed in Europe, that's them killing their own. All right? Because they need an excuse to go after the conscious-minded people, or those who choose to take a stand against tyranny and oppression of not just natural persons, but natural and universal life all over. Natural plants, natural untampered with animals, fishes in the ocean, natural water, natural air. Wake up. I don't give a shit what your religion is. I don't give a shit what your spirituality is. I don't care. None of that matters to the tyranny that's going on here today, because it's going to fall upon all. Okay? All right, let me get these things ready. Okay. This is sickening, right? We're gonna let him talk. We're gonna let the whole thing play out. We're gonna let a good portion of it play out. Let him talk, and then we're gonna show you that he's lying. All right? Bully tactics. Like I said, you can't. It's not about defunding the police department. It's about putting the governors and mayors in check that fake like they're going to discipline corrupted officers and don't do it. The chief of police in check, corrupted sheriffs in check. It is about the leaders. It's not about retraining the police. The police have been trained in de-escalation and all of that. They choose not to do it because they're leaders. Set the example for them not to do it, because they give them a slap on the wrist every time. If you're a parent, you have a child. Your child goes out there and is kicking another child in the face, pushes him to the ground and is kicking him in the face. Okay? And the citizens see that, and the citizens walk past the child, kicking the other child in the face, and instead of going to the parent, right, they go to the next door neighbor and say, hey, do you see that? Ain't you going to stop that? Next door neighbor's like, ain't my kid, ain't none of my business, right? And the parent is there watching it. Then you go to the parent, and the parent just says, oh, Timmy, just stop kicking him in the face. Okay, his face is bloody. Oh, look at that. Oh, his nose is broken. His teeth's falling out. All right, Timmy, you know what we're going to do? For 2 hours, no TV. That's not goddamn punishment. For 2 hours, no TV, but here's the video game right here. That's when you tell these officers, hey, you're suspended with pay. Who makes that decision? The mayor and the governor. They tell the chief of police, hey, you know why they tell them that? Because the police department, you didn't hire the police department. Your mayor and your governor took it upon themselves to hire a police department, originally pronounced policy department. You know why Camden, New Jersey went back on a county level, right? With their policing. That means it went back in the hands of it's in the hands of the sheriff. You know why? Because that's the lawman. Now, it is your job to make sure that the sheriff is upholding the Constitution along with his deputies. Okay? It's not about defunding the police. It's about, and folks is getting so caught up in that, defund the police. Are you stupid? That brings in military in big cities like New York, LA, Detroit, Chicago, control. And then the rule of law goes out the window. Now, this is what you hear Jamaica prime minister talking. Mind you, the prime minister is a puppet. He makes no decisions. The governor general tells him what to do, and he passes on the decisions down. Have you ever seen the governor general of Jamaica come in front? How many times have you ever seen him come in front of that podium and speak about the COVID-19? How many goddamn times? You always hear the prime minister talking. But the governor general is a boss of the prime minister. You have to wake up. It is the leadership of these corporations that you must go at. And the Constitution is put in place to put the asses in check. Now, I pulled up the 1777 New York State Constitution, okay? And we're going to go over the United States Constitution and show you that this man is lying. And when each state took that oath onto the United States, they are bound by the federal Constitution. If you don't know this stuff, if you're going to play politics, know what the hell you're doing. I had conversations with family members yesterday at my cousin party. When I said a slave mindset, when they said, "Oh, but the coronavirus, it's not COVID." Yeah, all right, it is COVID, but it is a form of COVID. But right now, we're being plagued by COVID, right? And I just looked at them. And I took out the entire file, and it just still wasn't registering that there's no COVID-19. You're in 2020. You're being hit by a 2019 virus. You're in 2020. You're being hit by a 2019 virus. The Coronavirus Act was passed in 2019, not 2020. 2019, that act was to secure you from tyrants like Cuomo and Bellagio, from these type of leaderships. That's what that act was, for you to be able to sue them for any form of damages that you've received due to their lies. Because whoever put that act in place knew that they were going to be politicians that come out to lie. I'm telling you, there's a war between your states and federal government. Okay? Pay attention. There's a war between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Now, what is the Republican Party? Oh, we're going to get to that, baby. But let's play this man's audio. Then we're going to show y'all what's going on. This is why they keep saying the African-American community is the hardest hit. All right? We're going to show you, baby. We're going to show you. All right? American Indian Inky Land. Thank you. Landed. Thank you. All right. Let's play this, because you know when we try to show the videos, they freeze them up. All right? So we're going to play this audio. We're going to go back some, and let's let it play out. Now, this is 2:38 p.m. Eastern Time. We are now Sunday, June 14th, year 2020, as they call it, right? And this live by Andrew Cuomo was done over an hour ago, all right? This is from NBC News. What happened to the MSNBC? Well, anyway, this is on NBC News. It's called Live. New York Governor Cuomo holds briefing. NBC News, all right, an hour ago. Let's go. We're just going to play part. I ain't going to go all the way to the beginning either.
So, personally, that is great news. We just have to keep going now. And we will. We're going to expand the timeline to enroll in our health exchange. We're going to extend that another 30 days. That health exchange works. We have one of the highest rates of health coverage ever in this state. It is a great, great accomplishment. And we want to keep it going and get it even higher. So we're extending the deadline. We're also opening low-risk youth sports in phase 3. Young people can engage in sports, 2 spectators per child. So that's another step towards return to normalcy. Understand the facts. New York State is leading the nation's reduction in the transmission of the virus. New York State, where we had the worst numbers on the transmission of the virus, worst numbers on the number of cases, now has the best number in terms of reducing the rate of transmission. That is a startling turnaround that they will record in the history books. And when we get past this and we have a little perspective, they'll look back and they'll study how New York State did what it did.
They didn't do shit.
My answer is going to be the same, because New Yorkers rose to the occasion in a way nobody could have anticipated, and nobody did. You look at all those projection models early on, go ask yourself, what happened? Why were all those projection models wrong? Because there was a factor they didn't consider, which is the resilience and the strength of New Yorkers. So we're leading the nation. At the same time, you have another fact. The virus spread is increasing dramatically in post-reopening states across the nation. So hold two facts in your hands. One, New York is doing better than any state in reducing the virus. Fact. Another fact, states post-reopening are seeing a dramatic increase. Not New York, not yet, but that is a serious caution for us. And that's what I am focused on. You look at the rate of transmission, New York, first dot, all the way on the left, lowest rate of transmission in the nation. This is an independent website that has been started by the founders of Instagram, which we have been following. You see the states up at the top red, those are the states that have...
I can't just let it play out and not say nothing. I can't. All right, so he's talking about a 2-person per child minimum for outdoor activities, and he says when we go back to normalcy. But remember, he already kept feeding the new normal. These people are under investigation all over the world right now. There's an insurgence of ruling classes that are coming up that are asking for the arrest of these people that have provided evidence on top of evidence of crimes against humanity. And every year, the outcry gets louder and louder for the arrest of these folks. Now, is it for the arrest of Cuomo? No. It's for the arrest of the folks who politically funded him, meaning that he's also implicated, because since these corporations politically funded him, his job, if I own a corporation and I give you $10-20 million towards your campaign, I'm expecting you to do what the hell I want for my corporation. I'm expecting you to pass some bills in favor of I. You're not just getting this fucking millions and millions of dollars for no reason. You're getting it for a reason, because I want you to pass this bill, make sure that this law gets passed or whatever gets passed for my corporation to continue thriving. Okay? Now, let's go back. What was it that he just said right here? Let's go back a little bit.
And website that
he is reading numbers off of an independent Instagram website about the COVID-19. What? These aren't experts. An Instagram site about the COVID-19? This is the same governor that told you to pretend to be sick. Pretend to be sick. The same governor that came out and said, well, the people are going to die of something, so we're just going to attribute it to the COVID-19. That means the numbers have been fake all this time. You don't believe me? Go back into his live streams and rewatch back his lives. His lives ain't that long. They're mostly like 30 minutes to almost an hour. You can't make this stuff up. And I have my lives of me replaying back the dumb shit that he's been saying. Right? So he has no choice now But, and I keep telling y'all, the governors and the mayors are the ones telling the police officers to beat the shit out of you. Because they're not upholding law. They're not practicing law. They're not enforcing law. They're enforcing bullying tactics to get you to comply to unlawful demands. Right? Human to crimes on humanity. Okay? Not just humanity, crimes on the indigenous people of America. All right? Pay attention.
Has been started by the founders of Instagram, which we've been following. You see the states up at the top red? Those are the states that have the highest rate.
Mind you, Mark Zuckerberg is also on the investigation, and he too has warrants for his arrest. Now, remember the court case that I just read to you guys yesterday, that he was also implicated in that lawsuit? Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook bought Instagram. So when he's talking about this was created by the founders of Instagram, man, come on. Let's go.
The green to red is at 1 or more, because at 1, transmission rate over 1, they classify as the virus is in outbreak or in epidemic. So we have the best rate. But we're seeing all across the nation the same warning. New lockdowns, second wave, increase. WHO is talking about it. Dr. Fauci is talking about it. The CDC is talking about it. You couldn't have more warnings from any additional sources. They're even talking about Italy having a rise again. And Italy had a horrific.
Mind you, Italy's not having no goddamn rise. Remind you, the Italian government, the Italian government asked for the arrest. Members of the Italian government asked for the arrest of Bill Gates for crimes against humanity. Who's funding the vaccine push? Bill Gates. Bill Gates is not a medical expert. Cuomo is not a medical expert. When Cuomo is telling you to wear the mask all day, every day, the people that make the mask are telling you, hey, you can't wear this for no more than an hour, no more than 2 hours. No, it does not protect you against no virus. That's not what these masks are made for. Okay? And then the ones that are made for protection of any form of viral outbreak only works for 30 minutes. No more. So when he's giving you foo-foo fluff, stupid topics and not going into the origin, not giving you any real breakdown, but the numbers, and here goes the numbers saying, yeah, the founders of Instagram, that's because he knows these are social media sites that are popular amongst the people. Okay? Does it mean that they're right? No. Does these social media sites have any form of conflict of interest? How much did the founders of Instagram put into any one of these political campaigns? This is what you're going to have to start doing. You have to start doing the footwork and the research. Okay?
Situation. So if there's a country that should be showing caution in the reopening, it is Italy. And you see this all across the globe. You cannot ignore it. These are facts. And if you ignore the facts, it's going to be to our peril. I promise you that. The reason we made the progress was because we followed the facts, even though it was hard. Don't disregard the facts. 22 states are seeing increases. And these are states that don't have some of our inherent issues. They don't have the density. They don't have the population. They don't have the crowding. And
mind you, in Europe, the people are, Francis is on house arrest. Okay, I'm telling y'all. See, look, that's why after this, I'm touching on this no more, and I'm moving on to something else. Pope Francis is on house. All of these folks is on house arrest. Okay, that Jeffrey Epstein arrest. not just Jeffrey Epstein, Weinstein's arrest. That put a lot of stuff into light. Okay, that 2,000-page document that Trump had released from the White House with all the pedophiles in politics. Huh? Hey, today I took my dog for a walk, and I stopped and I spoke with some officers just to get their mindset of what's going on. And their mindset from the two officers that I spoke with, one Negro officer and one Caucasian officer, right? They were very cool. See, this is important to have these form of dialogues with these folks, right? Because I address them in the uniform and I address them outside of the uniform, all right? Because they wear two hats. So you have to address the man and woman in the uniform, and then you refine your question to the man and woman outside of the uniform, all right? When they are in the uniform, their job is to enforce the corporate policies, all right? That's their job. They're doing their job when they're enforcing it. You, as the citizens, your job is to know what they can and cannot do. Your job is to know law. Police officers are not law enforcement. If you go back in the history of it, the sheriff is law enforcement. Their job as police officers, policy officers, is to enforce policy and pull in income for the corporation. New York City, New York State makes majority of its money from extortion of the people every day via the way of the police department. Now, some of these officers, especially the young ones, they are not privy to this yet. It's the seasoned vets who have become privy to it when they run into someone like me or like the Moors and these things. Okay? That's when they get privy to it because they have to have that experience. But their supervisors know this stuff. All right. So if you're going to revamp the police, yeah, you can revamp in parts of how they are trained when it comes to law. All right. If you want them to be law enforcement officers, then you have to revamp it to where you hire the police chief, you hire the police commissioner, but you're not the ones that hiring them. Thus, they're not law enforcement. They are private security for corporate firms. All right. This is why Epstein had bragged that he has the Miami police officers because, he was their boss. They're a private corporate security company. That is the root origin of them. Okay? When we spoke to them as the ones outside of the uniform, this is affecting them just like how it's affecting everyone else. That is what you learn when you look at them on a human level. Okay? I went to the corner store and went in there. Of course, I'm not wearing no goddamn mask. And not everyone was looking at me, but the elder folks are looking at me like, oh, because they said, oh, well, the elderly's the one prone to it, so they're going to die if they were exposed, right? So they look at me like, oh, this nigga is not wearing no mask. Don't come nowhere near me, right? I just got my 2 bottles of water, right? And I looked at everybody in there. And I said, let me ask you guys something. They told you that COVID-19 lasts in the air for 3 hours. Then one brother said, no, they said 24 hours. I said, well, it was 8 hours. Then it became 24. Now it's 3 hours. Wow, the numbers keep changing. So I said, but still though, hear me out. Now the other brother that said 24 hours, he wasn't wearing no mask neither. He gets it. Now, I just want you to bear with me and hear me out. This is simple mathematics and simple science. They said that you can get the coronavirus through the transfer of liquid, okay, which is moisture, right? And from the air. Now, when you go outside, the air has automatic moisture in it. They said if the liquid touches your skin, you can get infected with the coronavirus, right? This is why they try to say that. Oh, it's a sexually transmitted disease. The Democratic Party always believed in population control. God damn it. They sort of said that this is, I'm not saying that there's not some sneaky Republicans that believe in that shit, but the majority of the Democratic Party, that's what they believe in, is population control. Now, simple science, people. The largest organ on your body is your skin. Your skin has pores. Your skin absorbs, and your skin lets out secretion of sweat. Okay? If you go outside, since the virus lasts for 3 hours in the air, and you could get it through moisture, through liquid fluids, and moisture is automatically in the air. You don't believe me? Go get a container of damp red and leave it in your house for 2 weeks, and you see the amount of water that's going to be in that damp red. There's moisture in the air. That means when you're only covering up your nose and your mouth, that the virus is soaking through your goddamn skin. Simple science, people. So what experts is this governor listening to tell you, oh, just wear the mask? You know why they want you to wear the mask? Because the mask, after a while, gives you influenza type flu symptoms. Okay? It gives you respiratory damage. All right? So you're going to say that, oh, my chest hurts. I got COVID-19. And then they're going to classify you saying that you have COVID-19 coming up in the fall. Okay? It's not hard to see beyond this goddamn lie. All you have to do is research, people. Research. To know that he's lying to you. Break them shackles off your mind. Damn it.
They're seeing increases. It's much easier to reduce the viral spread in states with smaller populations. It's much easier to reduce the viral spread in states with less density and with less crowding, where you don't have tall apartment buildings where everybody's getting in the same elevator or in the same lobby or in the same park outside. We have natural...
I'm going to give y'all the link to this, and notice that this man has a nice little suntan to him. That means he was chilling on the goddamn beach or somewhere getting a goddamn tan. Okay? Was he wearing a mask there? Where's the paparazzis that usually follow these guys around with these pictures? No paparazzis. Don't y'all find that weird? No paparazzi is following him around? Huh? Remember, before this whole thing, you used to see the auditors walk up into the governor's halls and all these places. Why isn't there anyone now walking up into the city halls, into the governor halls, and see if these people's actually social distancing? I guarantee you, police stop your ass before you even get to his office. Mind you, that's supposed to be a public area, a public building for public access. You are supposed to be able to publicly have access to the governor and the mayor at any time because you voted them into their position. You're their boss, but you did not vote in a policy officer. Someone else hired them, so they don't work for you. Let's keep going.
Obstacles to controlling the viral spread, and we're controlling it despite that. All right? So just hear the facts. Washington State, which had the first case in a nursing home, which was devastating, they're seeing an increase in coronavirus cases. South Carolina is seeing it. Some states, Utah and Oregon, are rolling back reopening.
Everywhere that y'all went ahead and protest, they use the protest as a weapon against you now. Because remember, they said, oh, because of the protesting, it's going to spike up. They said that it's going to happen. Come on. Come on now. They used the protest as a weapon against you. That George Floyd shit was a sham. God damn it. If you don't understand, look, man, but he really died, Dark, man. It was a sacrifice. Wake up to reality. This is the world we live in. People make sacrifices. Entities make sacrifices. Corporations sacrifice their own. Family members who are greedy as shit. I'm not saying that's what his family member did, but family members who are greedy as shit sacrifice their own for the greater will of certain organizations that they are a part of to rise in power. This is how they get shit done, to oppress those who they consider to be weak of mind, to oppress those who are rightfully righteous, to oppress those who they want to rule over, to keep you in fear. You don't want to face reality that this is the world we live in, but you can sit back and watch Israel drop bombs after bomb after bomb after bomb on children in Palestine, but don't want to face the fact that your own elected officials has been setting you up for lambs to the slaughter and has been orchestrating this entire act all these years. Then you are literally a moron. Look, man. Look. They're using your own ignorance to face reality against you. They're using you against you. Okay? Another thing. Ask my family who is hella against Trump, right? I said, what has Trump do to you? Oh, he was taking children from their parents. I said, those are Mexican children. I said, you guys are talking about y'all want this and that for black people, but he was if he was taking children away from their parents. I said, did you research what was going on at the border when all those folks was coming in? How many of those parents were actually child traffickers? Of course, they're going to take a child from a parent, and it might be the rightful parent for that child, but they're going to have to investigate that first. So they have to separate them at first. But you know the thousands of child traffickers that they caught on that Mexican border sneaking in? Did y'all know that? This is why he was doing that? They said, oh, no, we don't. Oh, I want to see that. I said, go research it. I'm done. Like when people's coming to me, like, I want to, no, go research that shit. The same way how I did it and pulled it up, you could go do it. The same amount of hours and time I took out of my day to go do it, you could go do it if this stuff really matters to you. No more being lazy. Go do it. Then they said, oh, but he repealed DACA, but DACA wasn't for you. So you're fighting for black people, right? But everything you're talking about is these the Mexicans and stuff. What about you? You're putting everything and everybody else before you. Before you. What about you? I asked you, what has he done against black people? Oh, the Central Park 5, but that was on his property. Oh, Trump owns Central Park? Stop being stupid now. You have restaurants in Central Park. You have businesses in Central Park. That happened on the property of his business in Central Park. Of course he was pissed off. None of them could give me a valid reason. I said, did you know that the World Health Organization wanted to come force vaccinate your children and take them out the home? And he stopped funding the World Health $450 million. He stopped funding them. That means he fired them until an investigation can clear them. No, I didn't know that. And every time I hit them with something, did you know that he's against the vaccine and he introduced hydrochloroquine, but India held it at their base because India thought that Bill Gates would have had all of you vaccinated by now. No, I didn't know that. I said, did you know that Bill Gates is pushing for this vaccine? Oh, yes. I said, but did you know that Bill Gates put the same vaccine in African children a couple of years ago? And now these children some of them are adults of age and can't have children because the vaccine left them sterile, unfertile. Oh, I don't believe that. I don't. Why would Bill Gates? I'm like, why would a white police officer walk up to a Negro and just shoot him dead in the fucking head? See, you got to hit them back with shit like this so that they can realize the world we live in. He stands to make over $400 billion from this goddamn vaccine. I said, did you know that Bill Gates advocates all the time for population control? Oh, I kind of heard something. So how are you against somebody and you don't have no factual proof to be against the man that is literally protecting you right now? How? How are you for people that you don't even know their backgrounds? How are you defending Bill Gates and you didn't even know that? How? And he speaks about it every single time he steps in front of a mic. Population control. The man that's for population control is pushing the goddamn vaccine. It's funding the vaccine. I said, did you know that Bill Gates has a red ballot warrant out for his arrest internationally? If he goes in majority of those Eastern countries now? No, I didn't know that. What is that? And then they had a nerve to look at me and try to talk to me like I'm stupid, like I'm crazy. And that's it. That's when I made up my mind that if I address anything today, I'm not addressing it no more. On none of these on this topic, I'll move on. And that's what it proves my point. To those who call themselves proudly and identify as Black people, because you spent so many years being brainwashed by that pro-Black movement teaching, your mind is now the weapon that's being used against you, your ignorance. Because when someone is pushing information to you now, you're quick to shoot it down without actually going to go research it. And I just looked at them. I said, only thing I asked for you is to go research the information I'm talking about. And they said, yeah. And they didn't do it. I could tell you they didn't do it. Okay? So when I tell you that a purge is going to come and some of them just are going to have to get purged, that's what it is. When I tell you, I really believe this is to weave out the strong from the weak. Okay? But they're going to use the weak to attack the strong. So those of who are strong, stay strong. Do not buckle. All right? Do not falter. All right? Those of you who are smart will know that you have many grounds now to indict your governor and your mayors. This is why they keep straying you away from the federal attorney general, because that's the way of the indictment through that office. And keep bringing you back to the state attorney general. Screw the state attorney general. The federal. When I said to them, hey, you know, during the King Civil Rights Movement, who was it that was breaking their batons and stuff over the people? Was it the federal government or was it the state and city police? Oh, it was the state and city police. But the federal government had something to gain out of it, though. And I'm like, what? I said, when they were doing desegregation and bringing in those Indian children that you wrongfully call Black kids into those schools, who did they call to be their security? Was it the state or the federal? Oh, the federal. But they still have a interest in this, though. Who has a bigger interest than state officials in state business? Huh? Those curtains are coming down. And there are people out there waking up to the atrocities that the state has done to them. Okay? The curtains are coming down. And the people are waking up to the atrocities that the state has done to them. This is worldwide. Okay? We say state here, maybe they use another term on the other side of the world. The veil. Thank you. The veil is open. It's for you to go look into that shit and see what they've been doing to you all these years. All these years. Let's go. Let's continue to play out his stuff. Because he's gonna get buck. He's gonna get real buck. Because you could tell that the platforms that spitting truth and pointing out his fallacies is getting to him. All right? He's going to get real buck.
Imagine how devastating and dramatic an action that is. Imagine how dramatic and dangerous the situation has to be for a state to say, we're stopping the reopening. What makes the determination? It's what we do. It is our behavior. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, all the numbers are good. Those numbers can change in a week. They can change in a week. You get undisciplined, you'll see those numbers change in a week. And once they change, you can't change them back that quickly. Now, we're getting reports from all across the state that there are large gatherings, social distancing is being violated, people are not wearing masks. We have gotten 25,000 complaints to the state of businesses that are in violation of the reopening plan. 25,000 complaints. We have never received more complaints in a shorter period of time.
And I guarantee you that came. I guarantee with every fiber of my bones, that came from the Chinese and the Jewish community, because they have nothing they're not going to be feeling the effects of this that's happening here, like how you are. Okay, remember, China is also backing a lot of this stuff that's happening. Okay, and remember the Ashkenazi, these Jews, Netanyahu is under investigation right now by the world courts and by their own tribunal over there in Israel. This is why it's important that if he gets reelected, then it gets put off again. Okay? If he gets reelected, but if he doesn't get reelected, and he goes to court, it's a wrap for him. It's a wrap. But if he gets reelected, he's going to use that presidential power to come squeeze on all them judges that had the nerve to pull his ass in the court for bribery, extortion, okay? All sorts of crimes, charges is coming down on this man, all right? So this is why you see these folks here scrambling to shut you down, because they don't want you to know these things. They don't want you to see that the corrupt leaders of the world who for years passed themselves off to be righteous, the ones that they passed off as a terrorist, and the ones that they passed off as the just cause, the ones for justice, flip the script. And then the ones who are acting all justified, all for freedom and rights, those were the terrorists, because they orchestrated all the stuff that you saw going on. But they needed a boogeyman as the face of terrorism to take the attention off of the illegal, unlawful activities that they were doing. When my friend in the military said, hey, when he went and thought that he was liberating Iraq, and when he saw Shell and Exxon CEOs come and give him orders on taking the oil mines, the oil fields, that every moral, every righteous bone, everything just went out his body right there on the spot, because he realized he killed people for corporate gain, not for liberating a country from tyranny. Then the information started coming in. There was never any suicide bombings when Saddam Hussein was in power in Iraq. All the monuments, the temples of all the ancient hieroglyphs, all the ancient statues were never destroyed. And when that man was killed, was executed, over 30,000 bombings, suicide bombings started happening. The monuments was destroyed, being defaced. Then you started learning how many Christians was living in Iraq, peaceful, untouched. God damn it. How many Jews was living in Iraq, along with Muslims, peaceful. Okay? Another thing. Remember, the folks of Europe is tired. They're fed up of the pedophile shit that's happening with those leaders over there and their children. They want justice. There's politicians who wasn't in positions of power to make something happen, and now they're able to. So there's a change happening worldwide. And I pointed out on every side of the world because everyone has been going through this injustice. All right. So now those racists who like to troll the chats, you have no excuse now. Okay. For the bigots who like to troll the chats, you have no excuse now. Your own ignorance is your own downfall. Right? Let's continue going.
25,000. Just think about that. What's alarming about the 25,000 is the volume. But it also shows how smart people are and how offended people are that they're calling and complaining. This is a time in history we've never seen before. Think about how concerned New Yorkers are, not just to see the violation, but then to care enough to come back and write a letter or call registering the complaint. You know why? They're afraid for them.
Now, you could put in a FOIA and request for those complaints and see who was calling and complaining. You could put in a Freedom of Information Act to see where the predominant complaints were coming from, what geographical location were they coming from. Then investigate to see if any of them works for the governor's office, the mayor's office, any city councilman's office, okay? Then to see if any of them is affiliated with any member of their offices, okay?
They walk past the business, they see the business is violating the rules, and they're saying, my health is jeopardized. My health. And that's why they're complaining. 25,000. Especially at bars and restaurants. Okay? This is the situation.
You know why he said bars and restaurants? Because look, alcohol, like vodka, rum, creates heat. Heat kills viruses. And if you're going to drink, you got to eat, right? You got to eat so that you don't become drunk or overly drunk, all right? So that's why he's targeting those. And those businesses are part of the 66% of the economy, the main source of the 66% that heads and leads the economy. So he wants to shut them down. Now, if folks are not familiar with New York, a lot of the restaurants owned in Brooklyn, in specific parts of Brooklyn and New York and the Bronx and Queens, are West Indian or Negro-owned restaurants, okay? That's why they keep saying the African-American community is the hardest hit, because your businesses are the targets. We're not saying nobody else's business isn't targeted neither. That's a fact. Your businesses are targeted. Now, remember when I told y'all about the open container thing with how they slammed the guy on his neck, the Caucasian guy, the police picked him up, flipped him over. They literally did a tilt-a-whirl. Flipped him over, picked him up, flipped him in air, and dropped him like a pile driver on his neck for an open container. This man is going to say that is law, that you can't have an open. There is no law that say that. I told you, it's your leaders that protect these corrupted ass cops. Okay?
And these are the facts.
Told you that's why he lawyered
They're
up.
not being ethical, they're not being moral, they're not being good New Yorkers. Great. They're also violating the law.
Here we go.
This is a question of violating the law. Not just feel guilty. You're violating the law. All right? And this is a very serious.
Now, I guarantee you not one reporter asked them, what law is that? Show us, could you show us the law, Governor? Could you recite that law? He can't because he's making this shit up. There's no law that states that. None.
Situation, and I want to make sure everybody knows the consequences here. A bar or restaurant that is violating these rules can lose their liquor license.
You heard? He changed it from law to rules. There's a big difference in the legal aspect of the word. He went from laws to rules. Parents lay down rules for their children when they're unruly. When the child is acting up and he breaks the rules of the house, rule of the house, okay, you're going to discipline that child. All right? Rule 1, rule 2. But the law is not subject to change when it's constitutional law. Not supposed to change that. If you change that, that's treason. And there is nothing in the Constitution that says open containers is illegal, especially in the goddamn state constitution. Now, truthfully, the state constitution don't matter because each state took an oath onto the federal constitution. Each state took an oath onto the 1776. See, 1776 comes first before even the New York State 1777. Okay? What's first is true and just. All right? These are maxims of law. So when I tell you this man is lying his ass off because he's committed crimes against humanity. And if enough of you wake up even some more and decide, hey, we want him convicted, we want him indicted, he's feeling to go down. Okay?
State Liquor Authority inspectors are out. We have a task force of state investigators who are out. You can lose your liquor license. And that is a big deal for a bar or a restaurant.
He's threatening them.
We are not kidding around with this. You're talking about jeopardizing people's lives. It's a legal violation.
No, it's not.
And the SLA inspectors are out there. I am telling you that. I called a couple of bars and restaurants myself where I saw pictures of the situations that were in their bars and restaurants. And I said to them,
now pay attention. Who do you think is going around taking those pictures? That's why I'll tell you, if you put in a FOIA, I guarantee it goes back to a police officer's cell phone. It goes back to a police officer's cell phone. I guarantee. It's going to go back to a police officer's cell phone. And it's a big issue if that's from their personal cell phone. If it came from their personal cell phone. Even the police officer's body cam footage. But if it's from their personal cell phone, they're not supposed to be using a personal phone to record the public. It's only supposed to be from their body cam or work provided phone or equipment. Not their personal cell phone. Because everything they do has to be uploaded on the NYPD's database. So if they have their personal cell phone, they could go home with that shit, look you up, and come stalk you and kill you. That's how dangerous that is. So when you see an officer takes out his phone and is recording you, oh, you got him. Because 9 times out of 10, it's his personal cell phone. Right? Look, he's loan sharking the businesses now. He's literally doing that. He's threatening them with fear. He's not using law. He's using fear to lay threats on the businesses to get them to make sure that you wear your mask and to make sure there's no open container law in the Constitution. It says that you have the right to be secure in your persons and your papers. Okay, so when he's threatening to take away business licenses from these businesses, that's crazy. All right, now that's unlawful business practice. All right, on him. Now this is where you should go and check out the ADA website to see if your business is protected or not. Actually, your business is protected under the Constitution if it's an unconstitutional demand that he's making of you. Okay? Let's continue.
You're playing with your license. There is no excuse, well, I told people and they did it, even though I told them. You are responsible for the people in your establishment. There is no excuse, well, the local legislator told me I could do this. No one can tell you that you can violate the law. There's nobody who can tell you that. Well, my brother said as long as... No.
Actually, the local legislature can tell them because the local legislature will know if it's law or not. See, what he's saying is no one can tell you to violate what the fuck I said. No one can tell you to violate my word. My word, I'm making it law. He's dictating. That's a dictator. That's a Nazi. Okay? Y'all like to say, well, Hitler and the Nazis. Well, look, this man is literally doing that. Because if he's going to tell you a local legislature, do you know what a legislature is? Do you know what a legislature is? A legislature is one that also writes laws. Okay? So how is he going to tell you that they can't tell you what the law is? And he's telling you all this shit, but not once has he even told you what law that is that you're violating. Not once has he told you what law it is that you're violating. You hear when the federal government be like, well, the local legislature, we have to confer with the legislature. That would be your Senate and Congress. Okay? Your Senate and Congress. These folks that write the bills that is to be passed, to be considered as law. So he's going to tell you that your state legislature cannot come and tell you that the governor, is in the wrong. What the fudge sickles? What the fudge? In what world? Huh? People can't be. I'm sorry. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to use this word. Matter of fact, I'm not going to use it. You can't be this obtuse, people. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to use it. You can't be this obtuse. You can't be this out of sync with reality. If you're going to play in the game of politics, know the structures to know when this man is lying to your face immediately and to show you that this is the devil in the governor's house. Okay? And that his minions, his entire staff, or the devil's advocate. Not one of them has come out and said anything saying that this man is lying to you. He's wrong. They kept their mouth shut. Okay? Now we're going to back it back up so that you can hear what the bull doodle that he's saying in its entirety.
Situation has to be for a state to say we're stopping the reopening. What makes the determination? It's what we do. It is our behavior. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, all the numbers are good. Those numbers can change in a week. They can change in a week. You get undisciplined, you'll see those numbers change in a week. And once they change, you can't change them back that quickly. Now, we're getting reports from all across the state that there are large gatherings, social distancing is being violated, people are not wearing masks. We have gotten 25,000 complaints to the state of businesses that are in violation of the reopening plan. 25,000.
Excuse me. When you step outside of your house, are you stepping inside of a locked box? Is there a physical box there that you're stepping into? And the box that you step into, did someone lock it? When you step outside of your house, right? Are you outdoors? Could you see the sun? Could you see the sky? Could you see the clouds when you step out during the day? When you step out during the night, do you see the stars and the moon? What is this reopening the city is he talking about? Huh? Are you not an open space when you step outside of your house? What reopening of the city is he talking about? Huh? Is he the creator? Could he shut down nature? Could he stop the air from flowing? Could he stop the sun from shining? Could he stop the waters from running? Could he? Could he stop the trees from growing? Could he stop you from living your life? No. So what reopening is this? Those are corporate terms. Those are business talk. Because each city, each state is a corporate entity. They're corporations, goddammit. They only have power on that fucking paper. But if you start exercising your rights as a natural being, a natural person, a living, breathing man and woman, there's nothing he could say. This is why they needed y'all out there to protest, and this is why they needed y'all to loot. Because best believe, look, man, it's a lot of killings of on people that happened. Yes. But you got to understand, it's orchestrated to keep you in a state of mind to where you're not paying attention to the true villains. Okay? At every head of corruption, it is the leader that you must step to. The leaders of each house. The mayor's house, the governor's house, your congressman's house, your senator's house, your president's house. Okay? Now, on the state level, your councilman's house, your mayor's house, your chief of police house, the commissioner of police house, the governor's house. One of those entities or a couple of those entities is corrupt as shit. So when did he become the almighty creator? When did he become the great spirit of the indigenous people of the Americas? When did he become that? Who is this man? But I'm not surprised because you are the same New Yorkers, the same people that stood by and watched Bloomberg get a third term as mayor. Watch him pick the council. Watch him handpick the council that gave the power to make that happen. And kept your mouth shut. And kept your mouth shut when all those homeless people were put on buses, and still to this very day, no one knows where he put them. Right? So I'm not surprised. I'm telling y'all only have strength for your own people. Let someone from your neighborhood come and talk to you a certain way. You're ready to punch them or her in the mouth. 15 of y'all, 16 of y'all, 20 of y'all is ready to jump that person. Crazy. Cowards.
1,000 complaints. We have never received more complaints in a shorter period of time. 25,000. Just think about that. What's alarming about the 25,000 is the volume, but it also shows how smart people are and how offended people are that they're calling and complaining. This is a time in history we've never seen before. Think about how concerned New Yorkers are, not just to see the violation, but then to care enough to come back and write a letter or call registering the complaint. You know why? They're afraid for themselves. They walk past the business, they see the business is violating the rules, and they're saying, my health.
You notice he didn't say they see the business is violating the law. Which rules? These are his rules. His rules are not law, people. So when a policy officer talk about they're enforcing his rule, that's because he hired them. They work for him. Okay? And you're supposed to use law to put them back in check. You're not doing that because you don't know law. Because you didn't take the time out to learn even the basics of law. Because you was too worried about, again, what your favorite rapper was doing and who was stacking paper. Or if Jordan was contributing back to the Negro community, when you were the Negro that shitting on Jordan for not contributing back to the Negro community, was sending your money to Africa in the Pan-African movement. So you ain't contribute to your community. Let's keep going. He's talking about his rules.
Health is jeopardized. My health. And that's why they're complaining. 25,000, especially at bars and restaurants. Okay? This is the situation and these are the facts. Well, they're not being ethical, they're not being moral, they're not being good New Yorkers. Great. They're also violating the law. This is a question of violating the law. Not just feel guilty. You're violating the law. All right? And this is a very serious situation. And I want to make sure everybody knows the consequences here. A bar or restaurant that is violating these rules can lose their liquor license. State liquor authority inspectors are out.
But he didn't say which law. He didn't tell you what law you're violating because you're not. Okay? Hey, it's one thing though I do give Bill Blasio, right? Even though it's a corporate policy and not a law, he will recite that shit. Well, code so-and-so 29AB of section, 4D on the subcode of the subsection 1A, blah, blah, blah. This dude, he don't do that because there's no such law. He can't, there's no such law. None. All right? And you have to be able to tell the difference between policy and law. All right?
A task force of state investigators who are out, you can lose your liquor license. And that is a big deal for a bar or a restaurant.
He's threatening your livelihood.
We are not kidding around with this. You're talking about jeopardizing people's lives. It's a legal violation. And the SLA inspectors are out there. I am telling you that. I called a couple of bars and restaurants myself where I saw pictures of the situations.
Now, you see those inspectors, again, you could report them. You can report what's going on to the federal attorney general. You can report what's going on even with OSHA, right? You can go and report what's going on with OSHA. But those city inspectors, those state inspectors, again, FOIA. Look up who they are. They're all covered on any insurance, okay? You put a lien on that insurance where their insurance will skyrocket, all right? You keep doing that shit, I guarantee you they'll back down, okay? You can also sue those city inspectors who are coming to harass you for unlawful demands because it's unlawful. There is no law that you're violating. So I guarantee what they're going to try to do, they're going to try to find an environmental code and say that your restaurant is in violation of that code or your business in violation of that code and use that to take away your license. But it's not the law. So what he's telling you, he's going to send out these inspectors to make shit up, to violate you, to take away your license and stuff for your business. Oh, well, all right. He wants to take away the liquor license, turn your shit into a holistic business, baby. Start doing some juicing, boost people's immune system. That's it. Can't shut you down for that. You have no liquor license, so you started juicing. All right? This is like prohibition when they were going after moonshiners. This is all this is. Because the state couldn't be in control of the liquor. And who is the state? You want to know who the state is? All these mega corporations is the state, the corporate state that funds these state governments. Okay? So when major corporations couldn't stop the average Joe from making the liquor in their backyard and selling it for a lower price than they would, they went and started pumping the money into the state and city officials and say, hey, we're going to use you to do our dirty bidding. And this is what's happening and still going on today. He's corrupt.
That were in their bars and restaurants. And I said to them, you're playing with your license.
That's a threat.
There's no excuse, well, I told people and they did it, even though I told them. You are responsible for the people in your establishment. There is no excuse, well, the local legislator told me I could do this. No one can tell you that you can violate the law. There's nobody who can tell you that. Well, my brother said as long as, no, I don't care what your brother said. You violate the law, you can lose your license. And you will. We're not kidding around about this. If you are an individual, you can't violate the open container law. There's an open container law. You can't stand on the sidewalk drinking a beer. You're violating the open container law. The social distancing, mask wearing, these are legal violations.
He made that up.
Protesters and police, the law applies to you. Well, I'm protesting. Yeah, I understand that. You can protest. The law still applies to you. Police department, your job is to enforce the law. Why don't you follow the law, right? It's a very bad signal when you see police people who are not wearing a mask and not following the law. How can you enforce the law if you're not following the law, right? So wear a mask. And also to local electeds who are in charge of the police department, it's your responsibility to make sure your police department follows the law. To local governments, you are responsible for monitoring the compliance with the reopening plan. That is the local government's responsibility. And we've been very clear about this from day one. We go to phase 1, we go to phase 2, we go to phase 3. The local government is responsible for compliance. Mayors, county executives, you have to do your job. I understand it's an unpopular position to have to enforce the law. I understand nobody wants to go to a sidewalk with people drinking and say, you people can't drink on the sidewalk. I understand that. I understand nobody wants to say to a bar, restaurant, you know, you're only supposed to be in an open air area and you're not supposed to be violating social distancing. I understand that. I understand it's not popular. I get it. You know what's more unpopular? If that region closes because that local government did not do their job. And that can happen. Utah, Oregon had to reverse their reopening plan. Before I reverse a statewide position, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to reverse it in those areas that are not in compliance with the rules. And I'm going to reverse it in those areas where those local governments did not comply with the law. That is what is going to happen here. And I am warning today, in a nice way, consequences of your action.
He's threatening you. He's a bully.
25,000 complaints statewide.
How many people statewide? How many people are in New York State? Millions. 25,000 out of millions.
And the Hamptons are the leading areas in the state with violations. These are not hard to spot violations. People send video of these violations.
That's the police doing that.
You can look it up on social media. You don't need a detective squad to go out and find it. They are rampant, and there's not enough enforcement.
All right, forget what he's saying. F him. So, all right, those are those policy officers that's filming these businesses. Those are folks that they hire. This is the dirt. Look, man, like I said, my family, I have members of my family that played in politics for over 30-something years. All right. They hire people to do their dirty work so that it don't come back to the office. So they'll hire folks to take pictures of your business. All right. They'll hire provocateurs if they want to get some form of agenda across. This is the dirty side of politics. And this is what people just have to realize and face it. So chances are when you see looters, your mayor, your governor hired them. All right. Somebody within that organization hired them. So if you're going to put in for a FOIA request, like how people put in for a FOIA request for the Clintons' emails, you should put in for a FOIA request on a regular basis for your mayors and governors' email files that they use while they're in the office, and make sure that they don't have no private servers at home also, like they're doing with Hillary Clinton. Come on now. Learn the game. Learn how this works. Their cell phone records, all these things, because they're public servants. Everything is public when it comes to them. They have no privacy unless they go into the bathroom to take a dump. Okay? That's what comes with those jobs. And it's for you, the citizens, to enforce that. Okay? It's crazy. He claims there's a law against open container, but that there's no law against being openly drunk in the streets. But there's a law against having an open container, but not for you being drunk. Huh? Laws has to do with criminal issues. Criminal issues has to do with if something violent took place, property has been damaged, someone has been murdered or beaten up. These things didn't happen. There is no breach of law. Okay? Now, you guys should know these things. This is the world that we live in. These are the things that you're supposed to know. If you knew these things, you wouldn't be in the street marching all day to what Black Lives Matter. All right? You should know these things. Okay? So I'm like, yo, it's wake up. Now I'm gonna show you guys some stuff. Thank you, brother, for the donation. Thank you. All right. Charlemagne is a freaking idiot. And folks, y'all could go ahead and tweet him on a regular telling him that this platform said that he's a goddamn idiot. Okay? He never thought to ask Joe Biden, whoa, where did that come from? But again, hey, he's a Masonic pawn. So he's not going to ask it. Right? They will get this work. Let me go into the my little goodie bag right here. Here we go. Give y'all a history. Remember, Cuomo is a Democrat. Y'all gonna learn today. Let me also pull up this. Let's go. Where is it? Recent files. Let's see. Okay, I got it. 1 second, y'all. Let me open this up. Got a few things to show y'all. Okay. All right. See, this I'm going to have to do this to some of y'all. So that you wake up. Let me hit this screen share. Wait, hold on. Let me separate this first. Then we hit the screen share. Okay. Let's get rid of this here so that you guys can be able to see the screen. Come on. Okay. Now, no screen share. Come on. Here we go. And share screen. All right. If you guys can see the screen, press 1 for me. If you can see the screen, press 1. So let me know that you guys can see the screen. Are you guys seeing it? Okay. All right. Now this is from political party projects .blogspot.com. And I'm glad I found this. Right? Give y'all the history of the Democratic and Republican Party. The Democratic Party. History and philosophy of the Democratic Party. Be prepared. Right? For all y'all that called these that was calling these melanated Republicans the coons, listen. A tiger don't change its stripes, all right? And a leopard don't change its spots, nor does a zebra. Okay? It was what it was, and it still is what it is. All right. In 1792, the Democrats adopted its name when supports of Thomas Jefferson or the Jeffersonian Republicans began using the name Republican in order to emphasize anti-aristocratic beliefs. These are the folks that they identify mostly today as philanthropists now. During Andrew Jackson's presidency in the 1830s, the Democratic Party name was more relevant between 1830s and 50s. The Jacksonian democracy helped shape the second party system and forever ending the original first party system that the United States was founded upon during the 1840s and 50s. The party was in conflict with the Republican Party over extending slavery to the Western territories. Southern Democrats, unlike Northern Republicans, insisted on protecting slavery in all territories. This is what caused the two parties to split between Republican and Democratic. All right. And what also caused the northern and southern states to have controversy with one another. The Southern Democrats adopted pro-slavery and nominated John C. Breckinridge as their candidate in the election to which Abraham Lincoln would win instead. The Democratic Party identified itself as the white man's party. The Democratic Party identified itself as the white man's party that protected and defended only the white man's civil rights. Now, you see they mentioned civil rights in this? Now you go back to the 1866 Civil Rights Act that was passed by the Republicans. You're also protected under that. So Cuomo's full of dung. He's full of horse manure. Okay? The white man's party, the Democratic Party identified itself as the white man's party that protected and defended only the white man's civil rights and proposed that the Republican Party was Negro dominated, even though whites were in control. In attempt to reform the southern states, Stephen Douglas of Illinois pushed through the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854 in order to initialize and continue the Democrats' philosophy of white man's control, as well as protect the history of slaves the country is founded upon, and to keep the economy bustling through the help of slave ownership. Unfortunately, once Abraham Lincoln became the next president, slavery was eventually abolished through the Emancipation Proclamation. While the Democrats survived, many Democrats joined the newly established Republican Party once Lincoln became victor. So they infiltrated the Republican Party. And today what you have were Republicans now infiltrating the Democratic Party, then went back to be Republican after they learned what they learned and using that shit to take them down worldwide. Now, You don't believe this? You look up the 1620 New England's Charter, right? Where it's telling you, matter of fact, I'm going to look it up. I got time today. Let's continue though before I pull it up. So that you're going to see that slavery wasn't just Negro people. What the Democratic Party did, they wrote themselves out of history as being slaves. A lot of Caucasians started rewriting some history books and was writing out themselves out of history as being slaves. So when you pay attention to the old documents, you can make sense out of nonsense. God damn it. I'm going to give y'all a link to this post. Let me get it for y'all right now. Okay. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Do y'all research. I know some of y'all going to be like, well, could you give me the link to like the original? Go do your research. Okay. There goes the link right there in the chat for that article right there. Now let's show you guys something. Here goes the Republican Party. Okay. I'm going to screen share. Give me a second. Let me hit the screen share. Show you guys. They're gonna start kicking y'all out the live stream now, but I'm streaming live on D Live also. Okay. All right. So I'm able to do this because of thanks to the folks that donated to the platform. I was able to purchase the StreamYard one of their monthly payment things. So I don't run out of hours and I can screen share not only from one but two platforms. All right, which will make me also gonna possibly link the other platforms so that I could do from like 5 platforms at the same time. But that's a different price though. This one is $25 a month. All right, so this isn't bad. All right, so let's hit the screen share. Let's continue with this momentum because we're not lying, right? So we want to show you what we're talking about. Let's deal with facts, right? So this is where the education lesson comes in. D Live is moving slow for me for some. That's it might be too much memory on your if you're using your cell phone, it's too much memory. D Live is more so for if you're on your laptop or your desktop, truthfully. All right. Or if you're using the app, just sign out the app and just log into the website itself. All right. Okay. Here we go. Let's do this. I wanted to do this. Let's do this. This is the Republican Party. All right. How to zoom in on this? Never knew how to run this thing right here. Let's make the screen bigger for one. Okay. Now this down here says of the distinguished members of the convention and assembly, and it says AD. AD stands for Anno Domini, right? And that represents in the year of God or our Lord, right? And this is 1868. Okay, these are all the folks of the Republican Party. Okay, these are the Negroes of the Republican Party. Okay, and you see extract from the Reconstruction Constitution of the state of Louisiana. Louisiana, they say. Ooh, doggy. All right. But you see, because you were taught certain things from a pro-black standpoint, they taught you certain things in backwards format, right? And there's something else that I want to let me. Now you see this flag right here. You notice it's missing some things down here. You see this flag? This is the Shiloh Farmington Black Land flag. Shiloh is Indian. Okay. This flag is called the Shiloh Blackland flag. All right. Now, this is the only thing I want to show you guys. Give me a sec. It's either it didn't save, or I gotta go search for it. Give me a second. Let me stop the screen share real quick. There's certain things I don't want. I don't want to put everything out there. Certain things that I have, and you know. Okay. Let's see if I find it. If not, I could find it. I could pull it up. Okay, I'll close it out. I'm gonna pull it up. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a sec. Where are you? Got two places to look. If not, I could just pull it right back up. Honors, especially Navarre's. Honors. Honors to everyone that's in the chat. Honor to everyone that is joining. Honor to you all. Okay. Okay. All right. I found it. Now, let me come back to the screen share. All right. See, we're headed somewhere with this. Macadon one, honor, brother, honor. We're headed somewhere with this. Y'all see that? You see that? The 18th Regiment, Alabama. I'm guessing this is ALA, stands for Alabama, right? Shiloh, Blackland, Chickamauga. All right. Lookout Mountain. Okay. This is Rocky Face. All right. So when I tell you this flag, when I used to tell y'all back in the day, this flag don't mean what you think it means. Okay. That they took your sacred science, your sacred symbols, and turned them into certain things of motivation for them. And then they adopted it into their occult world to get you to look negatively on it. All right. Now, why you need to research this? For those of you who like to call yourselves Black and African Americans, why I tell you to do your genealogy, I'm not talking about the DNA test. The genealogy, go down to the halls of records, dip into the records, run your family history through them halls of records, familysearch.org, the paperwork forms, right? Go down to the churches, the oldest churches that existed in wherever you were born, wherever your mother was born, your daddy was born, so on and so. They have the records. The churches are the original libraries of the record. Okay? The churches kept the record. They're the original libraries of the record. You can even contact the goddamn Vatican and tell them what you want. All right? But this is it. Okay? This ain't no redneck and hillbilly flag. This ain't no racist flag. They needed to have you think that. And that was via through the way of the KKK. Now, who created the KKK? The Democrats created the KKK. Okay? That's why I always say that too at Rainstorm, capture the flag, because that's what they did. They captured your flags and turned them into either corporate entities or entities for you to fear and look down on. You're in such a huge trance, a huge spell. They've casted such a huge spell on you. Okay? They took your own voodoo and it's working it back on you. God damn it. Wake up. Man. Let's continue. let's continue. Give me a second, y'all, because someone said that the StreamYard was acting up. So let's see. If the StreamYard is acting up, they're slowing up the feed. Then, if that's the case, if it's even acting up on your computer, they're slowing up the feed. And let me see why that is. Because we have a whole bunch of trolls spamming the to StreamYard. Right? So let's get rid of them. All right. I thought I had moderators in here too. So that's why. Let me get rid of them right now. They're spamming it. All right, I think he's gone. Yep, he's gone. All right. So it should be better now. All right. So now let's get into let me pull up these other stuff here now. Give me a second, family. Give me a second. All right, so that was a political party. Let's see what this is right here. And then we will. Okay, hit the screen share. All right, just to show y'all how easy this is, right? I'm going to show y'all how easy this is. Look, man, this is why sometimes when certain questions is asking me, I don't answer it because it's a simple click on the keypad. Simple. Look what I typed in. Right? For those of you who can see the screen. Look what I typed in. Black Republican Party. Okay? In the midst, you see images like this come up. The two platforms. Okay? The Democratic platform, the Republican platform. Then you go down, you see the imagery's here. Okay? And then you start researching from there on out and see what you come across. And this image stand out to me even more. On March 20th, 1854, a new political party emerged that was based on dominant values presented during the American Revolution. Right? This is what Democrats had to say about it. Okay? Now, why did these Democrats wanted to see the slavery system continue? And why was these Republicans, was so strongly against it? Now, mind you, slavery was both Negro and Caucasian folks throughout the period of history on this land. All right? That's all over the world also. Okay? Now, for those who research, if you even go in person and dig into the historical archives of the newspapers and stuff, or at the Library of Congress at your library, you take this footage, you take this image, and this is what you're going to scroll through to look for until you find it. Okay? And then we continue to scroll. And you start coming across certain images. All right? Okay? This is like when you look up the ancient maps. You start coming across certain images. It's like when you find in the maps from the 1400s and going up into even the 1700s, and you see the Indians of Afro hair, dark skin, brown of skin people, and only a closed-minded, disillusioned person will still say, "Oh, those are Africans too." Shut up. No, it's not. So when I say I am Arawak, Ahuwak, what they call in colonial terms Arawak, that is what I am. That is my ancestry. Okay? See? Look at the imagery. Okay? Now, they did show the real picture of this man, of Abe Lincoln. He was Negro. Now, that's something that for y'all to go dig into the archives too and go find with his little afro, little curly hair. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. All right. Now that you know that predominantly the Republican Party was predominantly Negro people, majority of the folks who they reclassified or repainted in animated characters as Caucasian, they were not. Okay? They've just did so much of a brainwashing in the education on you. All right? It's oh, they got the Pan-African elephant. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yo, y'all push yourselves everywhere, boy. I'll tell you how that. But it's not hard. It's not hard to research. It's not hard. Okay? It truly really isn't. What is this? Alexander Asbury, born Wilderville, Texas, November 2nd, 1861. Died Robertson County, Texas, California, 1903. Black man was of Congress. Legislative Reference Library, right? And I will tell you the legislative branch. Like y'all really let Cuomo tell y'all legislatures don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the law, but you learn in school that the laws are created on the legislative level. How? What are they teaching y'all in New York? How? Oh my God! How? Yo. I can't. Oh my goodness. All right, down boogie. I'm coming. I thought I was going to make this longer, but you know what? I think I've proved enough. Okay. Let's go over some of these constitutions and then I'm just going to wrap it up. This right here just showed me something. Like, it's not worth the energy. It's not. A lot of this is just common sense. And if some folks out there really need someone to beat it in their head, then we have a problem. But you know what? That's also telling me to go towards other topics, because the other topics that I need to go towards is going to cover the reason why some people can't compute and register information right away how they're supposed to normally register it, because of the radiation poisoning and also because of these 4G and 5G towers. Let's go. Now we're really going to get into some stuff. All right? But yeah. But anywho, yo, he really, I tell you, this man, he says the dumbest stuff. Oh, here goes a sister right here. This is Miss Susan Paul Smith. Let's see what she is. See, now I'm intrigued. Now. Miss Susan Paul Smith worked for higher education, advancing Black women's rights in the 1850s. We're going to look up her entire history. That's another thing. The Democratic Party, they had to pull y'all into on the Caucasian females feminist movement. It wasn't until Dr. King's March when the Caucasian female got what she wanted out of the feminist movement. All right? That's what that Dr. King Civil Rights Act bill got them. Okay? So it wasn't, these things weren't for you. All right? But y'all want to play politics, so let's go. And it's not a shocker that you are the dominant Republican members of the Republican Party, because again, you are the original heirs to this hemisphere. Okay? Now, because you lost your power, all shit is going to hell over here. All right? And then you see even some of, well, we're not going to get into that. But we're not going to get into that. Okay. All right, let's get up out of here now. But I am going to come research back some of these folks. Like, it's beautiful to see some of this stuff. It really is. It's very beautiful. Give me a second. Let me let my dog outside. She's been here for hours now and she hasn't felt like going anywhere. And now she feels like going, so I'm going to let her out. Give me a second, y'all. First, in the meantime, let me pull up something else real quick before I do this. All right, Tiny, I'm coming right now. Okay. Now let me hit back the screen share with y'all. Yo, I got a headache. Oh, I'm losing so much weight. That's what's up. All right, go on. All right, y'all. Let's do this. Suck. Let me connect back this up. I was going to pull up some stuff also from my external, but there's no need to. We have enough what we have right here. This is the Constitution of New York State. That means it covers New York City. So if New York City has a separate constitution from New York State Constitution, that's also a problem. And the fact that there's a New York State Constitution separate from the federal Constitution from the 1766 Constitution, that's also a problem. Okay? They've been trying to separate from federal for a long time. They've been trying to separate from what their founding fathers, when their founding fathers founded the corporation, not the land, the corporation, from the rules that they put in so that the corporation won't take advantage of the people. This man said, "Don't you listen to your legislatures? They don't know nothing. It's not what your legislators say." Who says that? This is crazy. Who says that? Who tells you that the legislature, the folks who are supposed to write these policies and laws, don't know what they're talking about? They say that this man cannot do that. That man cannot do that. So he's telling you that they don't know what they talk about, but he has not shown you the law. There's no law. It's only there's an ordinance that speaks about open container, but it's not law because the only law is constitutional law. All right. Okay, Constitution of New York, 1777. See that? April 20, 1777. Oh, but Thought, yes, this still stands. Okay? Since this is how they want to play this. Whereas many tyrannical and oppressive usurpations of the king and parliament of Great Britain on the rights and liberties of the people of the American colonies had reduced them to the necessity of introducing a government by Congress and committees as temporary expedients and to exist no longer than the grievances of the people should remain without redress. And whereas the Congress of the colony of New York did on the 31st day of May, now last passed, resolve as follows, viz. Now, where's the New York Congress? I've never even heard that New York even had its own Congress. Huh? Whereas the present government of this colony by Congress and committees was instituted while the former government under the crown of Great Britain, told you about this crown, the crown of Great Britain existed in full force and was established by the sole purpose of opposing the usurpation of British Parliament. Now, because this corporation has expanded outside of certain boundaries, okay, they too are usurpers of the Americas and the lands and rights of the indigenous people of the Americas, which is those who they call Black and African American. This is why they kept changing your titles and your names throughout history, is to usurp your lands away from you. And this is why they paid these boule-ass Negroes to have you focus on Africa so that they could steal your motherland underneath your goddamn feet. Okay? This is where we're going to turn it to the indigenous aspect. Now, if we want to go to the aspect of both all races and all ethnic groups, the Constitution has this is the New York State Constitution. We're going to read this, and then we're going to go to the federal Constitution to show you that this guy's lying. All right? That this guy's lying. Whereas the present government of this colony by Congress and committees was instituted while the former government under the crown of Great Britain, former government, existed in full force and was established for the sole purpose of opposing the usurpation of the British Parliament, and was intended to expire on a reconciliation with Great Britain, which it was then apprehended would soon take place, but is now considered as remote and uncertain. But they did reconcile with the crown. All right. This is why they still do 21 gun salutes every time a new baby was born in the royal family here in the Americas. Okay, because the United States corporation is still ruled by the crown, but the English crown. All right. And whereas many and great inconveniences attended the said mode of government by Congress and committees, as the necessity in many instances, legislative, judicial, and executive powers, popovers, have been vested therein, especially since the dissolution of the former government by the abdicated of the late governor and the exclusion of this colony from the protection of the King of Great Britain. Okay? Now, you need Cuomo to abdicate the seat of governorship. All right? And there should be a certain amount of signatures needed for you to put him out of his governorship, all right? If you so be and want to, all right? I don't remember the exact amount, but that's something for you guys to research, because when you elect them, you can also take them out of office. And whereas many and Great Britain inconveniences attended the said mode of government, Congress committees of the necessary as of necessity. In many instances, legislative, judicial, and executive powers have been vested therein, especially since the dissolution of the former government by the abdication of the late governor and the exclusion of this colony from the protection of the King of Great Britain. And whereas the Continental Congress did resolve as followeth, to wit. Y'all also have to pay attention to the history of the Continental Congress, because the Continental Congress was predominantly Negro on both sides. But I think that was the Senate. Anyway, let's go. Whereas His Britannic Majesty, in conjunction with the Lords and Commons of Great Britain, has by late act of Parliament excluded the inhabitants of these united colonies from the protection of his crown. And whereas no answers whatever to the humble petition of the colonies for redress of grievances and reconciliation. See, you can also hit them for this redress will be a part of like a tort claim when you're seeking redress, okay? Of grievances and reconciliation with Great Britain has been, or is likely to be given, but the whole force of that kingdom, aided by foreign mercenaries. This is what they're still doing today, right? Let me show you how important nationality is. All right. Being an indigenous person, some people say indigenous, an indigenous person of the Americas. Nationality puts you outside of the jurisdiction of the corporation, which then makes the corporation foreign to you, which then any acts that the corporation forces upon you, these are mercenary acts upon you because you are not within the jurisdiction of the corporation. So when you have a governor, a tyrannical governor like this man, let you know that he's going to use his private police force, policy officers, to beat your face in if you don't comply to his words, and then he's going to use the city inspectors, the state inspectors, to shut you down, to find any fault, to shut you down that has nothing to do with this fake law that he's talking about, because he has not produced the law. Okay? That is tyranny. He is foreign to you. That means he and the corporation is also foreign to your businesses as indigenous peoples of the Americas. They have no say-so in your business. This is why you saw that they stole your identity and started calling themselves Native Americans. You see blonde hair, blue eye, brunette people, all that, you know. Full-blooded Asian Chinese people talk about their Native Americans and all that. Like, come on, man, wake up. And they cracking down on them in Canada right now. Just so y'all know, they cracking down on them in Canada. Okay? All right, anyway. The kingdom, aided by foreign mercenaries, is to be exerted for the destruction of the good people of those colonies. And whereas it appears absolutely irreconcilable to reason, irreconcilable to reason and good conscience for the people of these colonies now to take the oaths and affirmations necessary for the support of any government under the crown of Great Britain. And it is necessary that the exercise of every kind of authority under said crown should be totally suppressed, and all the powers of government exerted under the authority of the people of the colonies for the preservation of internal peace, virtue, and good order, as well as for the defense of our lives, liberty, and properties against the hostile invasion and cruel depredations of our enemies thereof. The power is vested in you, the people. Resolved. My mouse stopped moving. Hold on. What is going on here? God damn it. Hold on, y'all. My mouse just totally stopped. All right. Okay. Resolved. That it be recommended to the respective assemblies and conventions of the United Colonies, where no government sufficient to the exigencies of their affairs has been hitherto, right, or hitherto established, to adopt such government as shall, in the opinion of the representatives of the people, best conduce to the happiness and safety of their constituents, in particular, and America, and America in general. And whereas doubts have arisen whether this Congress are invested with sufficient power and authority to deliberate and determine on so important a subject as the necessity of erecting and constituting a new form of government and internal police. This is what they're doing now. They're reformatting the government right now, to the exclusion of all foreign jurisdiction, dominion, and control whatever. And whereas it appearance appertains, and whereas it appertains of right solely to the people of this colony to determine the doubts, therefore. Resolved. That it be, give me a second, get closer. That it be recommended to the electors in the several counties in this colony by election, in the manner and form prescribed for the election of the present Congress, either to authorize, and this is in parentheses, in addition to the powers vested in this Congress, there presents deputies. Now, either to authorize their present deputies or others in the stead of their present deputies, or either of them, to take into consideration the necessity and property of instituting such new government as in here, but such new government as in and by the said resolution of the Continental Congress is described and recommended, and if the majority of the counties by their deputies in provincial Congress shall be of opinion that such new government ought to be instituted and established, then the institute and establish such a government as they shall deem best calculated to secure the rights, liberties, and happiness of the good people of this colony, and to continue in force until future peace with Great Britain shall render the same unnecessary, and goes down here, resolve that the said elections in the several counties ought to be had on such day and at such place or places as by the committee of each county respectively shall be determined, and it is recommended to the said committees to fix such early days for the said election as that all the deputies to be elected have sufficient time to repair to the city of New York by the second Monday in July next, on which day all said deputies ought punctually to give their attendance. You notice they said the deputies ought to be elected, meaning there's supposed to be an election. You don't just hire a goddamn police officer. Okay? All right, let's get into this. Give me a second. Now, and whereas the object of the foreign resolution is of the utmost importance to the good people of this colony. Resolved, that it be, and it is hereby earnestly recommended to the committees, freeholders, and other electors in the different counties in this colony diligently to carry the same into execution. And whereas the good people of the said colony, in pursuance of the said resolution, and reposing special trust and confidence in the members of this convention, the trust that they're talking about, that's corporate terms, all right? They talk about an actual trust. Member of this convention have appointed, authorized, and empowered them to the purpose and in the manner and with the powers in and by the set of results specified, declared, and mentioned. And when they're speaking of a trust, this is why all people declare their nationality and are declaring that they are indigenous to the Americas. You are supposed to also have a trust, okay? Because these courts operate off of bank laws, trust laws. When they talk about a trust here, they're literally talking about that document that covers you, that secures you, that you are supposed to create, okay? To hold these people also at bay when they get out of hand, like this Governor Cuomo with tyranny. Understand trust law. Understand what a trust is and the power that is behind, that is within a trust. Okay? Where am I? And whereas the delegates of the United American States in general, you notice today it only says United States. Ha ha. And whereas the delegates of the United American States in general, and in parentheses it says Congress, convened, did on the 4th day of July, now last past, solemnly publish and declare in the words following, viz. Right, and then, excuse me, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the cause which impel them to the separation. Huh? Nope. Give me a second, y'all. Let me fix something here. Okay. Come on now. So what he's talking about is bull doodle. Understand what this is. Here we go. Here we go. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying in foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to edict their safety and happiness. He's putting your safety and your happiness at risk. He took away your happiness by shutting down the businesses. He put your safety at risk by forcing you to wear a mask that causes respiratory issues. Okay? Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed. Also, let it be known that it's talking about that the government, these elected officials, were put in place to administer, to manage your affairs if you so deem and wish them to do so. Now, if there's something that they're doing that you don't want them to do and you voiced yourself to them, they have to respect that. Even if there is 10 million people in New York State and 1 out of the 10 million says, hey, you know what? That's not what I want for my affair, for my trust, for my so on and so. That's not what you want. That governor is supposed to respect that. Those officials are supposed to respect that. And this is where your trust comes in. Okay? Because they're supposed to honor, respect your trust. All right? Okay. Pursuance, indeed, will dictate the government's long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, this is what's been going on, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism. It is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government. You hear that? So when they're trying to this is why they create chaotic situations so that they can call in the military. Because when they call in the military, this right here no longer exists. Okay? The rule of law no longer exists. This is why now, if you're not believing that all this shit is orchestrated, from down to even the killings, down to even what you call racism, this is why they orchestrate these things, because when they call in the military and enforce martial law, it kills the rule of law. This is what I'm telling you. You're screaming defund the police, defund the police, defund the police. But these folks is going to use it as an excuse to initiate martial law on you by creating more chaotic experiences. They already started during the chaotic experiences of the protests. They went and they waged war on the federal government. They were shooting feds. They're the ones that's shooting their own officers. Let those who have eyes see. Let those who have ears hear and listen, goddammit. Okay. Throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. See, they work for you. You don't work for them. Such as being the patient sufferance of these colonies and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former system of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations. It's in their own goddamn document. All having in direct objective the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. Now, every time you saw a political official or a priest or a pastor, TD Jakes, go to the crown, go to the Queen of England, and drop to their knees, and you see that sword go on their shoulders. They were dubbed, they were knighted. That means they no longer work for this Constitution. They work for the Queen. God damn it. That is the secret order of the Queen's Parliament that has invaded your governmental structure that you put in place to secure your best interests. So they will always show themselves. So when you see that knee being taken, Colin Kaepernick taking that knee, that's the knee of knighthood. It's not a knee saying, "Oh, I respect George Floyd or respect to my fallen comrades." No, that's not why why he's doing it. It's Masonic. God damn it. All right, where were we? And all having indirect objective the establishment on absolute tyranny over the states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. You're getting facts right now. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. Till his assent be obtained. Now, like I said, there was a challenge to the crown. Okay? The royal family that was sitting on the throne are the imposters. All right? This is why the prince ran away over here, and he don't look like he's going back over there until he feels like him and his wife is going to be secured. This is why neither one of the princes want the throne, because this is why they're pushing for the queen to abdicate the throne, because there's been a challenge by what is said to be King John's direct descent. King John III, direct descent. Okay? King John III, which is a direct descent of King John. All right? So hence the world is shut down because a lot of shit is going on right now that you guys don't get. And you're in the streets marching? For who? For what? For a sacrifice? You understand? It's in your hands right now to take all these corrupted folks down, well, majority of them down, and ease up so much pressure off of you, and you're not even doing it. And I'm not mad at some of y'all, but some of y'all out there know better. Okay? Now, with this that y'all just read, this goes for the Prince Hall Masons and a lot of these Masons. They took an oath onto that crown. Okay? So when you want to see provocateurs, invaders, infiltrators, you look back at these things. Look, I got folks, friends who are in these lodges. Some of them didn't even know some of this stuff. All right? But now some of y'all are knowing this. It's up to your proper morals, your proper judgment. What are you going to do? And how far in your oaths did you go? Huh? How far did you go? Because some of y'all ain't no turning back. Right? This is why I distanced myself from some of y'all. So I did it. You ain't going to set me up for no sacrifice. God damn it. You know how my people's is. It's not going to happen. If I fall, 15 years is coming right behind me. Anywho, Now, he has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and present importance, unless suspended in their operation till the assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right in, inest, inestimable to them, and formidable to tyrants only. Uh-huh. So are you giving up your rights? Or are you giving up your rights to this tyrant? Are you going to give up your rights to this tyrant that wasn't talking laws, but telling you to obey his word? Not freaking law, but his word. He's a tyrant. He's a tyrant. He's a terrorist. And the Constitution is pointing him out to be that. So we're going to deal with the law right here. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, and Cuomo told you legislative don't know what they're talking about. The legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large. The legislative powers have returned to the people at large. For their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without, convulsion within. You've been invaded, so they're destroying you from the inside out. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for that purpose, obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migration hither, and raising the conditions of new operations of lands. I'm going to put this link in the chat for y'all. Okay. And we're going to skip some of this stuff. We're going to get down to some of the nitty gritty. Okay. There's so much to have broken down in between, but I'm not going to spend all day on it. All right, hold on. Let me re-put back the link again, because they're trying to stop me from putting the link in. It's about having trouble connecting. Please check your internet connection. My internet connection is just fine. There we go. I see that they're kicking people out of the chat. I see it. All right, it's not a problem. Like I said, y'all could just switch over to the D Live. You can log into the D Live on the computer. If you use the app, it might take up too much memory on your phone. All right, this is why we're running it from both lives. Okay, this is why we're doing it from both lives. All right. Okay. This is why. All right. Let's keep going, y'all. Let's keep going. Let me get back to the screen. All right. So that's the link to what I'm reading right now. But there's a lot of breakdown in between also. All right. So I know folks is going to be like, oh, did he miss that? No, I didn't miss it. Trust me, I seen it. I saw it. Trust me, I saw it. But you don't want to lose folks. Damn, that's the wrong one. All right. All right, here we go. Where were we? Represent. All right, let's go down to some more things. Let's just go down to some more. All right. Now look, you see how they look right here. Let me show you something. By virtue of which several acts, declarations, and proceedings mentioned and contained in the aforecited resolves or resolutions of the General Congress of the United American States. You know, it's not United States of America, but the United American States, right? But even this still is still corporate term. This whole thing is still a corporate document. All right. This is a trust. Okay. And you are also supposed to have your trust. All constitutions are trusts. Right. And the master trust is the federal constitution, which these folks are trying to get from underneath. Each state that you see pushing this stuff hardcore like that is trying to get from underneath it because they want to openly commit acts of tyranny without any repercussions and consequences from the master trust because they have to obey and abide by trust law. So your trust is the master trust over all of these trusts. Okay? Look, man. Let's start from this was Article 1. This convention, therefore, in the name and by the authority of the good people of this state, thus ordained, determine, and declare that no authority shall, on any presence whatever, be exercised over the people or members of this state, but such as shall be derived from and granted by them. Did you grant him your acquiescence when you stayed silent and went protesting George Floyd? And this man was here passing all of this tyrannical rules with his word of mouth and supposed executive orders. When this man was doing that, you didn't protest it. You acquiesced because you stayed silent. So this gave him the okay to carry on, to have the police treat you how they treat you right now for not wearing a goddamn mask. Sick people wear a mask, goddamn it. You're not sick. You acquiesce. This is why they kept extending and drawing out the goddamn protests. They set you up so lovely. This I keep telling y'all. You're playing checkers and they're playing chess. God damn it. You're playing checkers and they're playing chess. And this is for all those who are, oh, well, I still support the protest because they're bringing awareness. They're not bringing awareness to nothing. This is what the awareness is supposed to be brought to right here. This is bringing awareness. The world already knows that Negroes die every day by the hands of police. And it's not just Negroes because they don't show you their numbers. But if you put in the FOIA to request for the numbers of also Caucasians and other ethnic groups that die, you'll see that that shit is high as hell. But they know that you're emotional and they feed off of your emotional energy. And they use this to paint you as a black, the mad, angry black person once again. Blackwater is here. Blackwater is here. Blackwater is here in more ways than one. Those overly aggressive cops, these are, I'm not going to get too much into that. I'm just going to leave that alone. But they're here. That's privatized policing. Blackwater is a privatized military company. Okay? And because it's a privatized military company and they're militarizing your police, put two and two together, people. Put two and two together. Where were we? 2. The convention doth further, in the name and by the authority of the good people of this state, ordain, determine, and declare that the supreme legislature power within this state shall be vested in 2 separate and distinct bodies of men. The one to be called the Assembly of the State of New York, the other to be called the Senate of the State of New York, who together shall form the legislature and meet once at least in every year to the dispatch of business. It's a corporation, people. Now, how many of you voted for your state legislatures? There should have been elections for those. How many of you went and vote? This was the most important thing, more important than your mayor and your governor elections. Did you know that? If you're going to vote, at least know how to vote. 2 bodies, it says, right? It says it's called to assembly, state of New York, called the Senate of the state, right? How many of you voted for the Senate of the state? The Senate, which is what they call now the senator, which that senator goes up to the federal level, to Congress, to the Senate on the federal level, he represents you on the federal level. This is what his or her job is supposed to be. Okay? Anyway, 3. And whereas laws inconsistent with the spirit of this Constitution or with the public good may be hastily and unadvisedly passed, be it ordained that the governor for the time being, the chancellor, and the judges of the Supreme Court, or any 2 of them together with the governor shall be, and hereby are constituted a council to revise all bills about to be passed into laws by the legislature, and for that purpose shall assemble themselves from time to time when the legislature shall be convened, for which nevertheless they shall not receive any salary or consideration under any presence whatever, and that all bills which have passed the Senate and Assembly shall, before they become laws, be presented to the said council for their revisal and consideration. That means when you hear your governor saying, well, it's the federal, and it's the federal, and the federal did this to you, and the federal did that to you. No. They have to revise it on the state level before it could go to the federal to be passed as a goddamn law. So I told you, they're trying to separate from the federal government. The state is the tyrannical government. The state. This is in their Constitution. This is the New York Constitution. So when there's laws being passed by the federal, right, that seems unjust to you, that's because your governor and the Supreme Court of the state and your state officials deemed it so and said, here, this is what we want you to do. And remember, they represent you. So you're supposed to be the ones to come back to them like, nah, son. Nah, you ain't doing that, B. Nah. That's not what we want. But what they do is when they're about to do stuff like this, they create a major distraction and then they push it out, the information publicly around like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning when they know your ass isn't up. And they put it out for like 15 minutes and take that shit down. So you're not aware of what's going on until it hits you unexpectedly. Dirty. Man, they all, especially Navars, all. All we're doing, we're just reading law here. We're just reading their Constitution. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. You want to put your states in check? You can use their state constitution to keep them in check. But the thing is, you really want to use the federal constitution because they could always come back and alter the state constitution over and over. All right? The federal constitution, once they touch that federal constitution, that's treasonous acts. All right? But even with the state constitution, they're not supposed to really do nothing to it unless you, the people, give the okay for them to do so. All right? Look, I'm gonna put the link again in here and y'all just read through this, man. I'm telling y'all, in this, it mentions nothing of no goddamn open container. Okay? So he's lying. This is if you want to consider this to be the law of the states of the state, this is it. Okay? I'm gonna drop the link again in the chat. We're gonna go through the whole. All right. Let's give you the link. All right. That's the link right there. Let's move on to the next. Hold on, y'all. Wow. Okay. There you go. There goes the U.S. Constitution. All right. This covers all the states. All right. Now, I don't know if this is the 1776 one, but I just pulled up one on here on Yale Law School. Okay. Constitution of the United States, preamble. Let's go through the preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty of ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. That's the preamble. Scroll back. Let's go. Move. Constitution, Section 1, legislative powers in whom vested. All legislative powers herein grant shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. 2. Section 2, House of Representatives. How and by whom chosen, qualifications of a representative, representatives, and direct taxes, how apportioned, enumeration, vacancies to be filled, power of chosen officers, and of impeachment, right? So remember, you the people, you have to vote for each senator and congressman. They literally have to vote, hold an election. So who vested them? Who put them in the position that they're in? Who gave them the power that they have? You. But you didn't give them the power to have powers over you. Okay? The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states. Okay? Now it's not several states no more because they all took an oath onto the federal constitution, which is what this is considered to be now, the federal constitution, right? Which covers all their states. Hawaii is not a state, all right? Hawaii has gotten back their sovereignty. They never lost it. They got it back recognized. So Hawaii is not a state, nor is Alaska. Okay, so let's get that straight right there. Now, where it says point enumeration, vaccines, officers of impeachment. Now, when you hear, let's skip that. The House of Representatives shall be composed. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year. All right, I read that. Every second year by the people of the several states, and the elector in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. So when he's going against the legislature, God damn it, Do you know what that is? That's a dictatorship. Okay? He's saying that he's king. Right? I wouldn't be surprised because he's only supposed to do 3 terms. If he comes back around and he tries not to give up that seat because in your eyes he made you seem like he was Superman, and you're like, no, you could go ahead, governor, do it, and he needs your permission to go do that 4th term. God damn it! Okay. 2. No person shall be representative who shall not have attained the age of 25 years and have 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected by an inhabitant of the state in which he shall be chosen. Now, again, remember, to show you that for Negroes, you signed up for this shit. Let's read this back. No person shall be representative who shall not have attained the age of 25 years and being 7 years a citizen of the United States. The folks who they call Negro, Black, and African American, you're indigenous. So nothing about the United States business has anything to do with you unless they are paying you tithes, all right, for operating their corporation on the land in which was granted, in which was left on to you, in which you inherited from your ancestors. All right. This is why everything that they did, they put it in the form of a corporation. It's just that you were gravely, wrongly educated and you didn't spot this because you, the Negro, when you were relocated, right, away from your lands, away from your governmental structure, away from your form of education system, you lost all of that, right? So now these things you don't get it. You don't get it. You don't understand the concept of this, right? And so certain powers out there took advantage of that, okay? And then they started labeling you as everything else than what you originally were supposed to be according to your nationality, and they used that to say, well, you gave up your lands because you started saying that you are not of this land. You are not of this hemisphere. All right. You gave that up, which given vested powers into the corporation to run amok. Okay. Now, when you played roles in this corporation, you put yourself in the jurisdiction of the corporation also as well. But certain things were put in place to make sure that the corporation don't take advantage of even its citizens, because a citizen is a working class, it's a working force. It is an indentured form of servitude. So these things were put in place so that the master don't continue to put that whip on your back. It gives you a form of power to keep them in check. Okay? Okay. So back to 2. No person shall be representative who shall not have attained the age of 25 years and being 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of the state in which he shall be chosen. 3. Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states which may be included within this union, according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, and excluding Indians not taxed. So when you gave up that title for Black and African American, to this falsehood of this fallacy that you were brought over here as slaves, as Africans. So when Dick Durbin says you didn't come over here, former senator, is he former senator? Senator Dick Durbin said you didn't come over here in chains on slave ships. Y'all ripped them. Your own ignorance. When Joe Biden mocked you, he said it in a mocking mean that he was mocking you. Said, and you're not black, is because he knew this right here in the goddamn Constitution. This is just, oh my God. Right there in the beginning. God damn it. And this is why every other ethnic group runs and steal your goddamn identity and proclaim to be Native Americans, Indians to the land. Because the perks that you were supposed to be receiving, they're receiving it. God damn it. American Arawaks pointed that shit out and told y'all, Indians not taxed. So it's not, I am exempt. It's not when they was telling us to put on those SS4 forms, I am exempt. Exempt, nope, it's Indian not taxed. That's what it is. Let's keep going. Give me a sec. Let me check on the D Live real quick. Give me a second, y'all. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, it's going well. All right. To Chata Hayu, to Heart of Comedy. Thank you for the donation. Thank you. All right. Okay. So now let's go back over to here. All right. Where are we? Not long. Okay. Indians not taxed. 3/5 of all other persons. Okay. Now it goes into the 3/5 of all other persons. Right? Now, it didn't say natural person. It didn't say artificial person. Now, when it says persons right there on itself, that's a business. Okay? So 3/5 of a person. All right? That's a business. Right? This is why what's called Dred Scott lost his case. Okay, let's read this whole back. Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states which may be included within this union, according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years. Those are indentured servants. And not only are those indentured servants, those are elected officials. Okay? Because they're bound to service for a number of years. Now, and excluding Indians not taxed. 3/5 of all other persons. Here it says in the parentheses, the previous sentence was superseded by amendment, and the actual enumeration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of the Congress. Oh, it's already, anything that's already in this, that is it. All right. Congress of the United States, and within every subsequent term of 10 years. In such manner as they shall by law direct. The number of representatives shall not exceed one for every 30,000. Oh. But each state shall have at least one representative, and until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3, Massachusetts 8, Rhode Island and Providence Plantation 1, Connecticut 5, New York 6, New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 5 representatives. When vacancies happen in the representation from any state, the executive authority thereof shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. Do you know what a writ is? They shall put it on, it's a notice, and they shall make that writ public to all the public so that you know what's happening, so that you can also put your input and what is it that you want and need. Okay? Well, that's a writ. If it's a writ of mandamus, then that is a demand. That is an order. Okay? That cannot be ignored. Look, man, I'm just going to give you a link to this. All right? But Cuomo's lying. Okay? Cuomo's lying. All right? It's straight tyranny. Outright tyranny is what he's doing. All right? That's a bully who look like the victims of him ain't obeying him. So he's going to use the bully, the families, his family members, the big guns, which is the privatized police force. They're private. All right? The sheriff is who is supposed to be for you because you elected the sheriff. He's an elected officer. All right? And if the sheriff is not doing his job, he's in violation of this, the Constitution. Okay? And there's prices and penalties that they must pay that is within this Constitution. Okay? To where they'll get sentenced for either treason and certain other aspects. They'll get years in jail if you push for that to happen. All right? Like, look, man. This is it. All right. Let's get into let's go down to the amendment parts. Right? 1, freedom of speech, press, religion, and petition. 2, the right to keep and bear arms. So there's no gun laws. Okay? This is why I keep telling you there's no gun laws. None. No gun laws. All right? This is why they do false flag shootings, and this is why they do sacrificial shootings, mass shootings, so that they could get you to repeal the Constitution. Article 2 of the Constitution, right? United States, the Constitution of the United States, Bill of Rights. Okay? These are your laws. All right? It don't get no more simpler than this. Okay? 3, conditions for quarters of soldiers. All right. You want to read this one? We'll read this one. Let's read the right to bear arms. Where is it? Instruction of assembly right, the speedy trial. Let's read all of this. Forget that. Let's read all of this. Right to keep and bear arms. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state. That right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So, when the police is shooting you down unjustly, you have all right to keep and bear arms to protect yourselves from tyrants. You see, when they're targeting you unjustly, when they're abusing their power, when any form of power is being abused, you have all right to keep and bear arms because that arm is your armor. That is your protection. Your armor is your protection. That is your shield. Okay? This is law. This is the law. This is the only law. Let's go to 1. Freedom of speech and freedom of speech, press, religion, and petition. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievance. So when the police is out there putting hands on you, they broke that law. That's Article 1, right? They broke that law, okay? When you're peacefully protesting, this is why they put provocateurs in the crowd to give them an excuse just to beat you upside your head. Now, pay attention. It says here, establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, of abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble, and the petition of governments and redress. So when you're marching, when you're protesting, and the officers already have certain streets blocked off, that's illegal. They're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to leave you be and let you go freely on your way from point A to point B. If you're going 10,000 deep to go into City Hall, they're supposed to let you go into that. Now, this is going to show you that you've been under attack for all these years by your own state government. All these terroristic attacks have been state organized, God damn it, to strip you of your constitutional rights, and it made you give up your own rights. That's why they keep slamming the hammer down on you every year or every 2 to 3 years. You gave up these fundamental freedoms. These things are orchestrated that you see happening out there. Because in order for the state to rule and be tyrannical, they need to gut this constitution. This is why Cuomo keep and the federal, and we got to get rid of Trump because Trump is upholding this constitution for the most part. For the most part. That's why you keep hearing them say, well, constitutionally, I mean, I could do it, but constitutionally, because he will be breaking the law. And if he did anything to violate you constitutional wise out there, outright in the open, then you're going to hear them say, oh, he violated the Constitution, let's get rid of him. Three, conditions for quarters of soldiers. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in manner to be prescribed by law. This is why, pay attention. Give me a second. My mother was calling me. Let me just tell her that I'm still. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up soon and call her back. Because at the end of the day, family's first. All right. Okay. So now, Pete, this is why they need to put provocateurs in the peaceful protests, because when they call for the military and martial law, then by law, they could have them inhabit your homes, go in your house, confiscate even your gardens, your crops, all these things, your gold, your silver, your weapons, okay? All of these stuff. This is why during Katrina, when the KKK was killing Negroes in the street and they called in the military, they had them going in confiscating people guns. It was a big gun grab, and they used the KKK because the KKK is a branch of the Masonic order. Four, right of search and seizures. This is important. Pay attention to show you that when these officers are approaching you, let's pay attention. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects, even your business. So when he's talking about using the city, see, that's bully talk. He's talking extortion. He's talking intimidation to force you to shut down, to force you to comply by using city inspectors. Yeah? Well, let me tell you something. If you have a private property sign even in front of your homes, that city inspector is not supposed to come on that property. It's private. It's private property. He's not supposed to come on it. And he could give you many excuses till he turned blue and black in the goddamn face. All right? You could trespass him and put a restraining order on his ass. right? When what they're doing now with businesses, they're telling you that it's the business private property, right? So this shit can't work both ways now, right? So when a business want to discriminate on you and want to kick you off their property, out the store, they say they reclaim the right to trespass you, because then they say, oh, well, yes, it is a business, but it's our private property, so we want the officer to trespass you off the property. Well, it goes for them city officials also as well. Them city inspectors, if you deemed it private property. Let's go back to it though. 4, right of search and seizure, regulated. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by, pay attention, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Give me a sec. My mom just texted me. Okay. She said all right. Okay. To be seized. Now, do you know what this means right here? It means that when a policy officer comes to you and he's searching you, even if he's frisking you, he don't have the right to do so. Now, when they say probable cause, he has to have probable cause that a crime has been committed. What is a crime? Some form of act of violence, some form of criminal vandalism. When you vandalize someone's property, also as well, damaging someone's property, doing harm, injury to someone, physical harm and injury to someone. Okay, then he has probable cause, and he's supposed to articulate the crime that you have, that he suspects you have committed, and he's supposed to prove that you committed that crime before he can even touch you. All right. Okay. Now this right here, you don't have to give them ID. You don't have to give them license and insurance. You don't have to give them none of that stuff, because you have the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, and papers. Persons could mean also your car, because a person is an artificial. All right. It is a corporation. It is something that is not living, breathing. Okay. Now, you can deem your car as your private and personal property. All right. Which right here, this right here secures you. This is it. It's not that the police need to be reformed. It's that your leaders need to be following the goddamn law and enforcing it upon them. It's as simple as that. When they're telling you, oh, we got to write this reform, that reform, they're full of shit. It's a throw up. It's a distraction. There's no reforms needed to be written, but just follow the goddamn law. Okay? Oh, this is important. Right to a speedy trial. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witness against him. Pay attention. To have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in this favor, and to have the assistance of counsel in his defense. Now, when you tell them that you want a speedy trial, since they arrest you and they want you to go to court, that means that same day they arrest you, they're supposed to take you ass to court. And they're supposed to bring that witness. Now, because an officer is also an officer of the court, a policy officer is also deemed an officer of the court. When they stop you on the street side, then you're in court. See? It's not they said court. They didn't say any courthouse. Now, courthouse is different. Now they talk about the building, the structure, but they said court. Court can be held anywhere. So when that officer says, hey, we got a phone call, or this person made a complaint on you, and this person said they're supposed to put you right there on the spot in front of that person. Not tell you, no, we can't do that. No. When you go down to the precinct, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. See that? The law, right to a speedy trial and witnesses. God damn it. The law. Here, this one. Right to trial by jury. So if you go into any court, long story short, you go into any court and there's no jury, all right? You just tell them that you want a jury trial, okay? And even if you go in traffic court, you tell them you want to take it to trial, all right? And if you want, you go plead a case in front of a jury, okay? And you can use this shit right here to win any goddamn case in front of that jury, because this is facts. This is law, okay? And how do you do that? It says, let's go back here. So this right up here. So shall provisions. Wait, no person shall be held. Wait. Damn, was it on something else? All right, it said when it said by their oath and affirmation, right? When it said by their oath and affirmation, that's because all officers is supposed to have taken an oath to this Constitution. Okay? So when you can use this right here and ask them, did they take an oath to uphold the Constitution? All governors, all senators, all of them took an oath to this Constitution, not to this Constitution. Okay, so you ask if they took an oath to uphold the Constitution, they have to say yes. If they don't answer, that means they're not who they are. They are imposters. Okay, and last time I checked, impersonating a public official, right? Something major. That's a big deal. Okay, so every time you go to that court, you ask that officer. Now, if the judge wants to overrule, this is why now you pull the judge's oath before you even go to court. Because when you pull the judge's oath, you could tell if the judge is an actual judge. Because if the judge is not an actual judge, he didn't take an oath to the Constitution, so he will override you every time, and dismiss all of this. That means you're not in court. You're in a banking system. It's called a banker's court. All right? You're not in a criminal court. Okay? Big difference. That means they don't even have the power to send you to jail. So when they're sending people to jail, all that is illegal. This is how deep the corruption is, and this is the structure that's looking to fall, but you're out there protesting for goddamn George Floyd. It's bigger than George Floyd, goddammit. Anyway, I'll give you all a link to this, and I'm getting up out of here. I'm going to call my mother. She is my light. Calling my mommy. That's right, I said mommy. My mom. Mamá, my mamá, mi madre. Okay? Let me give y'all the link. Let me close this out. I'm going to put all the links in the description box in the comment section. And I already have a lot of links in the description box. Also, subscribe over to American Arawaks platform. The link to his channel is also in the description box. Subscribe over to Lacona Empire, Copper Hot Step, the entire ICCC. Subscribe over to their platforms, all right? And, let's get it, man. Let me find back my page, though. Where is it? Or am I bugging? Okay, there we go. So I'll give you all the link. Also, don't forget, tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be having the live with the Yen Kun Kun Pikibo with Copper Hot Step, Lacona Empire, American Arawaks, right? And we'll be talking to the one of the Arawakan tribes of Jamaica, or what it's called, Zamaica or ex-Jamaica, all right? And they will be, breaking out some information, some stuff for us. some historical facts also as well, and also our brothers and sisters, the of the Yankunkun Pikibo, have also started a what is called the West Indian Tribal Society, to where they are, well, we'll let them break it down, but it is to also, help to the best of their ability, all Indians of the West, because this is the West. Okay, this is the West. All right, and also, we're trying to help our brothers and sisters travel to South America to get to learn more of the culture there, because we already know the culture in the Caribbean and the West Indies, and we know of the culture here in the North. Now it's time to unite the cultures, right? Because we came from that one source. Okay, so now to go back to the mother source, which is South America, get to learn back the culture, the language, all right, the herbs, and come educate you on the herbs, and also secure what is to be called there's a seed bank, that they're going to start a seed bank, because you see how these folks, these colonizers, are destroying everything. Okay, and because they're destroying everything, we have to start storing and saving seeds, because our brothers and sisters of the Americas are going to start needing these seeds, these holistic seeds, to grow in your garden, because you're going to have to start having gardens anywhere and everywhere you go. Right, so you're going to have to start learning how to holistically start healing oneself, and spiritual, mental, physical, emotional self. All right, and pull away from this pharmaceutical industry that has been poisoning you for years. This is what Sabi and all the other holistic doctors that they've murdered have been trying to teach you. So now it's time for you to get back to the source. So this is what our brothers and sisters are also trying to do also as well. And I'll put the link to their GoFundMe in the top of the chat and in the description box also as well. Well, the link is already in the description box. So I'll place it in the top of the chat for you guys as well, for those who wish to donate to the GoFundMe. And to those who have donated to the GoFundMe, I thank you very much for the donation towards this journey that is to be taken, right? This journey has been long overdue. This is what the corrupted ones have been doing. They've been going to the South to get this form of information, and then come back and use it to usurp the identity of the brothers and sisters of the South and of the West Indies. All right. So this is vital and this is important. Okay, that we get truth and transparency of the information. You see what I'm saying? Like, so the brothers and sisters, they're doing it. They've already started also certain processes already in place. There's a lot of things that's going on, and like I said, and to folks, to Zamakins who are looking to go back to Examaica to for land and homes, the brothers and sisters are here. They can help you also with that also as well, and also to where also your property will be not taxed. All right, so just like I said, this is where it's at. This is where it's going. Okay, so just to keep the people updated onto what's really going on and what's happening here. Like I said, there's been things that's being worked on, and yeah, and this is one of them. Okay, matter of fact, I'm gonna put the link in the chat right now also for you guys of the GoFundMe. Okay. All right, Sister Cherokee. All right, no problem. Thank you, sis. Thank you. All right, so let me put this in here. All right, and then it's going to be in the top of the comment section. So the coronavirus file is going to be there. The Coronavirus Act of 2019 will be also in the description box and at the top of the comment section. and y'all going to see the links. Okay, the links are going to be there. So it's not just about talking about this stuff. You're going to see it. It's all there. All the links, everything that you need to show and prove that all this stuff that's happening is fake, and all of that, it's going to be there. And then I'm going to add also these links right here, also to the description box and the top of the comment section. All right, so it's going to be a lot of links. So no one has any more excuses. Thought, man, could you give me? You're getting it. It's there. Click on it. Research. Read. Okay, it's there. All right. So with that being said, I wish you guys nothing but peace, love, happiness, safety on each of your individual journeys as soulful beings here in this realm. All right, and guidance to you and protection to you and your loved ones and to all life of righteousness on this beautiful planet. Peace, love, and light to you all.